training journey. So today is going to be a demo session where we are going to see what are all the things which will be covered as part of this entire training part. So just I think if you guys have any issues hearing me or so, please let me know. I can able to help you on that. I mean, if at all I can. I'm just using my headsets. Hope my voice is loud and clear. Okay. Yeah, guys. So let me just share my screen. I think as part of today's session. So mm, let me just. Okay. So hope you guys can able to see my screen.
Yes.
You can able to see my screen, right, guys?
Yes. Yes. Sriram.
Okay. Okay. Great. So as part of this AppDynamics training, we are going to cover. It is like an end-to-end coverage, guys. Okay. So when I say end-to-end, we are covering from the very basic aspect, like from the monitoring part. Um, you might be having the experience or exposures, or some of you might be new to the uh, entire concept of monitoring or APM. So we are just going from the very basic part and slowly, like, we'll see what is an APM and what are all the different APM tools available in the market, and what is the difference between this AP monitoring and management, and why this APM tools has to be learned by performance testers. Actually, it should be like uh, currently with the market, right? So why this APM tools is required to be learned by the IT professionals? Because um, as we all know, right, like I think if you go for any of the interviews or something, like apart from Java or uh, .NET or all these technological aspects, right? At the same time, if you are a tester or if you're an kind of support specialist, mm, so whatever it can be a profession. I think today these APM tools has become an uh, very integral part of this all these areas. Like you can be a developer or you can be a tester or you are support specialist or you are in the business area like a business analyst. So it is like a mandate statement, like you if you have any exposures to APM tools. So APM tools as in we're going to see on AppDynamics. So similarly we have other tools as well. So why it's why it's a very integral aspect for all these IT professionals to know about the APM tools, where it can be helpful for them. So it is helpful for all these professionals. And we are going to see the App Dynamics introduction, like from what is AppD, and we'll see like uh, how this App Dynamics as a tool, right, um, is evolved in the market and how it is going to be useful for to do the application performance monitoring and management. And subsequently, we'll go on to the architectural concepts. So, with respect to AppDynamics part, right? Uh, we'll be seeing like, mm, hope you all know, like there is an on-prem model as well as a SaaS-based model. So we are going to see architectural um, aspect, like how AppDynamics functions. So what are all the components associated with the AppDynamics part? And as part of that, we are as part of this training session, I think we are going to go on to the SaaS-based model, wherein we are going to help you with how to create that SaaS accounts and it's a 15-day trial account wherein we can able to see the we are going to learn all the aspects, and you don't have to worry. Uh, what they're doing is they're providing a pro license. Post 15 days, it will be a light license. Still, you can able to use the AppDynamics account which you have created, so that you can able to make use of your learning part. And at the same time, we have like SaaS as well as on-prem model. Um, right now, I have to differentiate because SaaS we can able to use it, but we have an on-prem model. On-prem model you can able to download the components and you can able to see that, but uh, unfortunately you need a license for doing the on-prem aspect, because there is an account activation license which will be provided for SaaS. Similarly, you need a license file for on-prem. But right now, AppDynamics or any of this APM tools in the market is predominantly encouraging to use their cloud-based products, except unless and until you are an kind of potential client for AppDynamics who is going to give a huge business. They are not considering for the on-prem part. So I think even for the most of the huge clients, right, they're trying to shift towards AppDynamics SaaS model because SaaS is being promoted in the market. So on-prem part, we can able to see how the different kinds of components we have. It is similar to SaaS-based model. Only thing is there are a few differences which we are going to see into that sessions. And as you all know, like I said, it's a kind of end-to-end part wherein we are going to learn from the introductions as well as the configuration part. So how to configure the AppDynamics app agent or the machine agent part, and how to do the monitoring. So the primary purpose of this APM tool, right? Um, it is it is about application performance monitoring and management, right? So wherein we are going to see the how it helps on the monitoring as well as on the management side. So when I say management side, all these APM tools have started providing some kind of management activities like how to create alerts, sets, notifications. So which we are going to see, and like I said, we are going to see when you take AppDynamics. AppDynamics has different kinds of licensing strategies here. Okay, so when you take, I mean, I'm just giving you an example. Uh, it is not for comparing. When you take Dynatrace, Dynatrace is providing something called one agent, where if you put the one agent on your host infrastructure, right, host or infrastructure, uh, it gives you an collective information. It's like a full stack solution with respect to Dynatrace one agent. But AppDynamics has a separate licensing strategies. So let's say like you wanted to monitor a Java application, you need to know how to configure the AppDynamics Java agent. Like for Java, we have a separate app agent. For .NET, you have a separate app agent. For Node.js, you have a separate app agent. It's like they are giving with different kinds of bundles when you wanted to monitor specific technologies. Similarly, if you wanted to monitor the infrastructure, you have something called, I think here it is mentioned as server agent. It is nothing but machine agent. Okay, they'll call that as machine agent, wherein with the help of machine agent, you will be able to see the infrastructure statistics or metrics, like what kind of metrics we can able to see: CPU, memory, disk, IO, network statistics, and how this AppDynamics licensing strategies are. Because there is a slightly different aspect when it comes to uh, doing the machine age infrastructure monitoring. Because AppDynamics has broken down that part. So let's say you wanted to monitor the, I mean, even without AppDynamics, uh, I mean, within that machine agent, right? They do have some kind of separate packages. They'll call that as server visibility license, network license. So something like, I think we can get into the subtle aspects in the session. So how to configure that AppDynamics machine agent in such a way that it monitors your infrastructure statistics. Okay, and app agent, as you know, let's say let's take if you are having a Java based application or .NET based application, and as part of that, right, you wanted to monitor the JVM statistics for your Java based application, right? So when I say JVM metrics is like heap memory or GC, or you wanted to see the underlying number of requests went to the particular application or JVM instance, or the errors associated with that particular application part, or you wanted to subtly monitor the uh, JVM level aspects, let's say within your heap space and non-heap space, right? So within that you have something called Eden space, or uh, I, I'll broadly mention that as young generation or old generation. You can able to monitor that aspects. So how we are going to do the configuration in such a way that we can able to monitor this JVM aspects. Similarly, for .NET based application, you wanted to configure the CLR part, right? Wherein you will be able to monitor the CLR level aspects. I mean, similarly for .NET applications, right? They'll be running on top of CLR. There you wanted to see the number of requests as incoming or errors or the response time statistics. So predominantly your app agent is responsible for business transaction metrics, right? Business transaction metrics and the uh, JVM instance or the CLR instance in this case. So we do have other aspects as well, but as part of this session, we are going to see um, how to do the Java agent configuration and how to do the .NET part, and as well as we do have some kind of exercises for Node.js aspect as well. Okay, Node.js application related. And when it comes to machine agent configuration, like I said, we are going to see the infrastructure statistics. It can be a Windows host or it can be a Linux host. So in this case, we are going to cover both Windows and Linux. Okay, Windows Server monitoring, as well as we do have some Linux machines where um, we are going to see how to configure the machine agent in such a way that it sends those metrics, like the infrastructure metrics, and what kind of metrics we can able to monitor. Similarly, we do have something called database agent configuration. So wherein we are going to see mm, how to monitor the database part. So let's say like I told you, right? So with respect to AppDynamics, we have separate licensing packages for doing the application monitoring, as well as infrastructure monitoring, as well as database monitoring. So similarly, we have another monitoring, like end user monitoring. They'll call that as an end user monitoring. For that, which we have a separate aspect. So in this case, for database configurations, right? So we are going to see how to do the MySQL database monitoring and MongoDB monitoring. And similarly, within database monitoring, you have something called hot web monitoring, where we can able to monitor the underlying infrastructure as well. So when it comes to database monitoring, right? So uh, if you take APM, right? Uh, if I wanted to say about APM, APM is like you wanted to see the real-time aspects, right? So in this case, when you wanted to monitor any application, right? The application might be having the app server layer as well as the DB server layer, right? So this APM tools, right? It helps you to provide a holistic picture. So holistic picture as in what is happening in your app layer as well as what is happening with respect to your DB layer. So when you put app agent configuration in your application host, at the same time, the DB agent configuration, like database agent configuration, if you do in that database server, you will be able to get a holistic picture. Like when your application is, let's say, if your application is in prod, you wanted to see the matrices, or you wanted to see drill down, like which is actually the business critical transactions, or you wanted to understand the errors happening. Okay, so you can able to get those information from any of this APM tools. For this, if you take any APM tool, they they are providing this licensing packages in such a way that you will be able to get a complete picture of your application. So where your application is actually lacking or where you wanted to fine tune it. So that is the prime purpose of any APM tools in the market, right? So to help you troubleshoot that issues. That is where uh, uh, we are primarily learning on this APM part. And as you see, database agent, wherein if you do the database agent configuration, right, you will be able to see the query matrices. Like let's take, I don't know if you guys are aware of AWR reports in Oracle, right? Automatic workload repository reports, wherein the first thing which you see is like you'll be able to see uh, the queries which are being the top queries which are being executed and the top queries which are consuming more CPU, something like that, right? So in this case, you will be able to see the query metrics. At the same time, the queries which are being executed, let's say if there are some kind of logs or contention happening at the query level, you'll be able to get those information from by configuring the AppDynamics database agent configuration. And similarly, the queries associated with your, so advantage I would say is when you link your app agent and database part, right? I'll show you that. So what happens is there is a beauty in AppDynamics in such a way like it helps you to show the which kind of business transactions are associated with which of the queries. Let's say like there is a login happening in the application, and in the back end there will be a query I mean it will be connected to the database, right? It can be SQL or can be a MongoDB or anything. So in turn there will be a query running, right? You will be able to integrate which business transaction is associated with which query, the AppDynamics. That is one of the beautiful aspect which AppDynamics is providing. Such a way like you will be able to understand uh, the query as well as the business transaction part. And I think we are going to see two different aspects here. And so till this part, right, if you see, I think what we have done is we are doing the configurations. At the same time, we are monitoring those aspects. Let's say so far we have monitored your application part, infrastructure, and the database. So this is a kind of exercise where we are doing a configuration. At the same time, we will show like what are all the important metrics is AppDynamics can able to monitor. So when it comes to the app application or database or your infrastructure, so what are all the things which can be monitored? So if you see, right, we have till this part we have predominantly covered most of the aspects, like which are uh, majorly used by the IT professionals. If you can be an infrastructure professional, where you are a kind of support professional, where you can be an Windows administrator or Linux, or you are a kind of DB management person, or you are an application developer or tester. This is where most of the concentration will be, right? Like how to monitor your application, database, infrastructure, which we have covered. At the same time, we have done the configurations as well. We'll be able to understand the configuration aspect, how this configuration can be done, and at the same time, how we are monitoring the different kind of matrices with respect to the real-time perspective. So as part of this exercises, right, we'll be using some applications like Java, Node.js, .NET applications, such a way like it helps you to correlate with the real-time perspective. Okay, so what kind of matrices we can see. At the same time, one other aspect is uh, we can able to replicate this like real time. So we have some kind of uh, load scripts which will load those applications, and at the same, these are not like simulators, guys. Okay, so if you take AppDynamics real-time training, right? I think the real-time training is provided on a simulator called Movie Streams. There is an application called Movie Streams through which they are actually simulating some kind of load. So they are like simulators. Okay, so they have like built-in simulators which will which will actually uh, kind of generate load or generate errors or generate some kind of traffic. Again, um, even Dynatrace has similar kind of aspect, like they have something called easy travel application. It's a simulator based application. But as part of this training, right, we have an application, but at the same time we are having a load testing scripts for that in such a way that that helps you to load that application entirely, and we'll be able to see what is happening in the real time. So let's say, like, if we load our application like with 10 users, what is happening, 50 users, what is happening, 100 users, what is happening, or 1000 users, or in case if we wanted to break our applications, we can very well do that as well. So such a way, like, we'll be doing a kind of real-time experience here. Okay, somewhat uh, not with respect to simulators, but we'll try to simulate a kind of different loads or different aspects and see how your applications is behaving, what kind of errors you can able to get. So such a way, like, you'll be able to see those experience. Uh, it it I mean it is like, uh, as a learning part, right? You'll be very well able to get lot of information from that, and that is about the application infrastructure and TB side monitoring. And if you see, we are providing account management portal, so wherein this is a kind of administrator activity. Okay, so if it comes to account management or manage user groups, this is a kind of administration activities where we are uh, trying to add one more user to your app dynamics. So let's say, like, I wanted to provision some kind of access to some X person. So how I am adding that user to AppDynamics? What kind of access provisions I am giving to him? Let's say, if you wanted to monitor only the particular application, how I am providing that access. So user groups. I think this is with respect to the administration area. And at the same time, I'm adding some new users, and I'm inviting that user to the AppDynamics controller. So let's say in AppDynamics, when we create an SaaS-based account, right? You will be getting a controller link. They'll call that as controller. So each of you will be getting a unique controllers, okay, through which you will be able to see the app dynamic statistics. Wherein, let's say, if I have some email account like Sriram at gmail.com, right? And you have like email account like x at gmail.com. So the X person can actually add my account in your app dynamics controller such a way, like, I'll be receiving access to your controller. So it is a similar, I mean, it's a plain simple part, like how we can able to give accesses, what kind of access groups we can determine for that users. And if you see, these are the important aspects here. So with respect to app dynamics, right, business transaction monitoring is a critical part. Okay, so if you take any APM tool, it is application performance monitoring, right, or management, right? So the application part in this case, let's say,
Sriram?
yeah.
Hey, I'm sorry. There is one point keep running in your mind. Can I ask you now or post the session?
Yes, yes, Raghavendra, you can ask it. Yes.
Sir, see, I'm really happy the way of your teaching and very simple and it's super. Okay, but the second point, sir, sir, I'm just getting confused. What is the difference between a metrics and a business transactions? See, we do monitor the metrics via Grafana, okay, in our project, okay, but here I'm trying to understand what is the business transactions which we cannot monitor via metrics on the Grafana, which is necessary for app dynamics to go.
Okay. Okay.
So there is
Okay.
some maybe very sensitive point, but still I need to get a clarification on that. That is the one point. And second point is still, what is the challenge? I mean, what is the difference between Open Telemetry and App Dynamics? I know both are the different tools, but when we choose for App Dynamics and when we go for the Open Telemetry, if you have a clear idea on that, if you can, okay, that is also one point, sir. And last point, okay, as you're mentioning, like, JVM and Java applications and .NET applications, of course, databases and APIs, we have an idea, but all these Java and .NET based application, we do not have an idea. So do we have at least a
Mm.
basic idea about the Java and .NET applications? Otherwise, how we will come to know what all to monitor in Java and .NET applications? That is also is a gap that from my side. Okay,
Okay.
Sriram, these three
Yeah.
points here. So first point
Mm.
is, how it is a metrics and business transaction, right?
So let me come with it, Raghavendra. So when you say metrics and business transactions, right? So these metrics, whatever you are referring, right? It is actually this business transactions. mm, mm, it- when you say metric, it's like you are assessing something, right? In this case, it can be a performance metric. So
Yeah.
performance
Suppose
metric as in,
example, sir. Example we are okay. We have our monitoring tool, which can ping all the intra commands like a CPU, memory, file system. Okay,
yeah.
at particular time, what is that value? So that we can build based on that values, we can build those data will be sending to time series database. Based on that, we are building a Grafana dashboards, right? So we are clear with that. But when you're talking about a business transaction, so I'm just getting confused. What else that business transaction is different from the metrics? That is what my question is.
Okay. So when I say business transaction snapshots, okay. So what is this business transaction snapshot is? It is a like, you can say like this snapshot contains details about your transactions. Like let's say your access, you are logging into an application. Okay. So when you are logging into that application, there will be a request segments which will happen, right? Let's say
Exactly.
uh,
HTTP.
it will go to a database, or you'll have some
Yeah.
kind of requests which will be run. It's like
Mm-hmm.
you'll see those details of the transaction by segment. You can say traces. Okay, traces of your application, like how your application is actually traversing, and how much time it took on each of these areas within your application part to traverse. So it gives you a kind of trace aspect. Okay, so uh,
Can I say at each step, how much time taking for each step between
exactly,
the process,
exactly.
right?
Exactly. Right. So when your application, when you're trying to log in, right? So it gives you a kind of, let's
There will
say,
be multiple.
you will
Yeah.
be doing a post call, right? So within that post
Mm-hmm.
call, subsequent aspects will be happening. So within that snap, what is the beauty of that business transaction snapshot is, apart from seeing how it is getting traversed, you'll be seeing the underlying code aspect, like which method was quicker or which method was slower, something like that. So you'll be
Mm-hmm.
able to get the detailed aspects through the transaction snapshot. Again, it is a
Okay.
kind of metric only, right? So wherein you are getting a much more subtle details.
Okay. Let's get
Okay.
convinced with that point. Okay, for now. Yeah. If anything, I feel gap again, I'll
Yeah.
ask you. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So sure. I think over the period of course of over this
I know, sir.
course of
On the
time, right?
PJ, I will not get
We
you
can
many
able to
things.
see that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And next point, sir. What is the difference between app dynamics and when we go for that open telemetry? Maybe it's a right question in this session or not, I'm not sure. Because we have
Uh,
always win-to-win situations in the project, whether we want to go for app dynamics or open telemetry. What is the best point that to decide to go for app dynamics or to decide to go for open telemetry?
So when you say about open telemetrics, right, Raghavendra? So you know the what is it? Open telemetry, right? OTel, right? So it's like an
Yeah.
open source framework, right?
Yeah.
Wherein you will be able to monitor your application part. Like you can able to instrument it. You can able to get the detailed aspect with respect to your application, correct? With
Mm-hmm.
help of when you say open telemetry, right? It's again a kind of
Mm-hmm.
observability aspect. Similarly, what AppDynamics is giving. But one difference is, see, it's an open source, right? Again, it's an open
Mm-hmm.
source framework. But if you
Exactly.
take AppDynamics is something of a commercial entity. I think AppDynamics is also provisioning something called OTel compatibility. Okay, right now they they are they have recently brought something like open telemetry trace, wherein you'll be able to use that open telemetry SDKs or APIs to uh, pull those metrics and import into AppDynamics controller. Okay, so one difference
Mhm.
is here, like you asked. See, when you wanted to go for AppDynamics, I mean, when you wanted to go for open source is something like it depends upon your uh,
Budget
client's
requirement.
aspect, right? See, wherein you have to where when you when you when you wanted to say like you have to go for the particular tools, right? You will be discussing about the cost factor. Okay,
Mhm.
anywhere if you go, right, the primary aspect is cost and what kind of benefits you are getting when
Yeah, that
comparing
is
with
fine,
open
Sriram.
source.
It's fine, Sriram.
Okay.
In terms of cost, open telemetry is a little better option. But see, I'm fine with the cost. Then, is there any features difference or accessibility is a different or more user friendly? Is there any such a points to pull me into the Tab Dynamics?
Yes, see, when you take um,
My point is if
app
I'm fine with
dynamics,
the
right?
budget, sir. Huh.
Yeah,
If I'm fine with
right.
the budget, then what is my next aspect to look at the Tab Dynamics?
Okay, so if you put that way, right, let's take app agent configuration, right, where with respect to the business transaction snapshots, you'll be getting a detailed
Mhm.
insight about the traces. It gives you the spans, right, like which areas, how much time you spent, or what is the slowest method. Again, with whatever you're going to achieve with open telemetry, uh, like you're going to get the observability data, right?
Mhm.
Even AppDynamics has a simpler way of doing this configuration. Rather than see when you take open telemetry, right? Uh, it's
Mhm.
not configurable unless and until you have a knowledge of the kind of framework which you are developing. Let's say I'm doing
Yeah.
a development on .NET application. Okay,
Mhm.
I don't know if you are aware of .NET technologies, but to the extent whatever I know, I'm not even a .NET developer, but as part of this configuration, I understood like let's say if you're developing an application in .NET Framework 3 or 4, when
Mhm.
you try to run that in 6, it won't run, right? Because of the framework difference, libraries. So when you take open telemetry, you need to know the knowledge of this frameworks, SDKs, which you wanted to use. So which is a kind of technological part, right? Unless and until you are a developer, you won't be able to do this configuration. But with respect to AppDynamics, the configurations are simpler. And at the same time, let's say if you have some kind of trouble, okay, you're doing a configuration and you did the configuration, but unfortunately you're not able to see the metrics. You have some kind of help from the AppDynamics technical team. They'll be able to I mean in case if you're going for AppDynamics tool, so
Just
you have
because
a
it's a
technical
paying
support as
version,
well.
right, Sridhar?
Exactly,
Just because
exactly,
it's a
and
paying version and they're not open source. Huh?
exactly. So how you are using uh, Java, right? Open source Java tools, and I think right now you have enterprise versions also, right? So when you have
Mhm.
open source tools, then there is a security issues, right? I think
Mhm.
recently also I think if I'm not wrong, 1 or 2 years back, let's say you have some kind of security concerns. I think with
No,
respect
people
to
move to
Java
log.
Log4j,
Yeah,
Log4j,
log4j.
right, had some
Okay.
security issues. So during the time,
Okay.
if you're using an open source tool, that's again a trouble for you. You have to break your head, right? Or you have to sh- cut short or do some things. But if you're using some kind of, let's say, Dynatrace or this AppDynamics, right, they immediately provision some kind of temporary solutions for all their uh, clients, which help them to put their minds at ease, right? So such kind of
Mhm.
supports you'll be getting. That is one great advantage, like the cost part, and if you're okay with that, right, you'll be getting a lot of support from that. At the same time, you have with any of these tools, I think with respect to AppDynamics, you have
Mhm.
something called this universities, AppDynamics universities, at the same time communities, wherein you can get lot of information associated with this configurations, like with respect to, let's say, if you're using .NET 6.0.7 version, if something is not working, you can very well go to the community. Okay, and at the same time, we'll be getting a real-time support as well.
Okay. Last
Okay.
point, sir. Is there any, can I say like this? Configuration on App Dynamics is more easier than open telemetry. Is there any
Exactly.
such a way that
Yes. Right. I think
not
I
just
forgot
because
that.
we are learning, not just because we are learning. So is that true that we can say like App
Yes.
Dynamics more user friendly than OpenTelemetry and
Yes,
people
exactly,
not
Raghavendra. That is there.
using
I think I was just missing that part. Yeah, like you said, the configuration part, when it comes to configuration or setup, in this case, if you take open telemetry, right? You wanted to do a application monitoring. At the same time, you wanted to monitor logs, or you wanted to get
Mhm,
some kind of analytical metrics, right? Similar thing
mhm,
can be done via AppDynamics in a super cool way. Okay, the
mhm.
configurations again, all these aspects can be done by professionals who have, uh, even though they don't have much of information, right? They still should
Okay.
be able to do those configurations and setups slightly
Okay.
easier
Sir,
way. I
do
mean,
we
it's a kind of easier way
uh, Java
compared to
and
open
.NET
telemetry.
applications, right? Do we
Mm.
have any Java and .NET coding knowledge for this? I mean, like, while we are doing code instrumentation with the Dynamics, do we really need that, or is there a pre-built option that at least a basic level that we can use that in App Dynamics?
Yes. So yes, one more thing. Yeah,
I think you're
we
getting
are
my
not.
point, right? Maybe I
Yes,
framed it
yes.
or not. See, example, I'm zero in .NET and Java because my technologies are not that. Okay, I'm the PLSQL developer. Okay, fine. So my question to you is, like how can I comfortable going Java and .NET code instrumentation or configuration setup on App Dynamics for those Java and .NET applications? Is that
Hmm.
not for the part of training? I mean, like, is that comfortable and people can be chosen because of that version? Can you please talk about? Can you please
Yes,
speak on
sure.
that?
So, yeah, sure, Raghavan. So, what is it, Raghavendra? Is like, if you see, right, if you come to the end of this context, you see something called diagnostics utility.
Yeah.
So, within
Mm-hmm.
which heap dump trigger. So, heap dump is nothing but your memory dumps. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
which, like you said, we can able to do the instrumentation here. We are going to do a kind of instrumentation in such a way, like, let's say. Uh, in this case, so your question is like to do this in kind of instrumentation, is it simpler with App Dynamics, right?
Because I don't know .NET or Java in that case.
Right. So you need not need to be an technological expert here. So if you know how to use App Dynamics as a tool, right? So what you can do is you can take these dumps or you can do this kind of instrumentation without much of
At least up to the basic level,
trouble.
right?
Yeah,
Sriram? Yeah. Okay.
yes, exactly. You need to know how to use this tool. That's it. You need not need to be an .NET developer or Java developer where you wanted to do some coding or run some kind of commands. Okay, that is not required at all. So it is a very simple aspect. So that is one of the great advantage of using this APM tools.
Mm-hmm.
So any professional who know how to take it, right, they can very well take those terms and uh, get that knowledge. So if you want, if you're, let's say, you're being put in the production, right? So production support, wherein you wanted to take this heap dumps or thread dumps, uh,
Mm-hmm.
instrumentation kind of things, right? You can very well
Mm-hmm.
take with App Dynamics if you know how to do that, uh, take the dumps or things. So you need not need to run any commands. You need not need to do any codings. Nothing is required. It's plain
Sir,
simple.
is that okay? Sir, is that App Dynamics can integrate even with that service now to generate alliances?
Yes, that
Not
can be
in
done.
the part.
Yeah, yeah,
Is that
yeah. We
possible?
can. Yes, that is there. Yeah, we can able to integrate because
Or
if you
it's a
uh,
only dashboard kind of things we can see.
uh, when you say dashboard
I
kind of
mean,
thing,
in App
like
Dynamics, is there any chance
mm,
of that we can see any dashboards or like any front end GUI where I can notice like traces and business transaction? Is that just limited to that, or even we can get a email notifications or INCs by integrating something?
um, when you, I mean, in terms of integrations, you are asking, right? How to, I mean,
I mean,
let's say you
see,
are
at the end of
integrating
the day,
App
sir,
Dynamics with
I'm
ServiceNow.
looking for my project actually. Okay, so my
Mm.
point is simple, sir. So can
Mm.
I just use the front end of that App Dynamics, or can even I don't look at go and every time to look at? Okay, if anything happens, I need to get an email or ILC. Is that possible?
Right. Yes, that is possible, Raghavendra. So let's say
One-time
in
configuration
this
we did it.
case,
Yeah,
yeah.
one-time
So as part
configuration we
of
did.
this, right, right. As
Mhm.
part of this session, right, what we are going to do is we are going to do some kind of I think I can show you. I think there is an integration with LoadRunner Jmeter because it's a kind of integrations with the performance part. But you can able to integrate with. So when I say the first part, right, APM, right, application performance monitoring and
Mhm.
management.
Mhm.
So in this case, what we can do is we can able to integrate this with tools like ServiceNow, Jira, Teams. I think one part is there are costs associated with it, but here in this exercise what we can do is I'll show you how to integrate with Slack or PagerDuty such a way like how you can so let's say if an alert is triggered in AppDynamics for any of the infrastructure, let's say CPU goes higher 80 percentage where you have set an alert, right? So that alert will be sent to your tool which is being integrated in AppDynamics. It can be Jira, it can be a ServiceNow. So such way like when that alert is triggered in AppDynamics, you will be able to see that in your uh, ServiceNow or Jira. That is possible.
Fine, sir. That is all from my end. I'm sorry, Sriram, if I took a long time.
No,
Sorry.
no, 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 Raghavendra. It is perfectly fine because see, uh,
Sir,
the
because
other
these
prime
are all the
agenda is
questions. These are all the questions which is running in your mind to just to kickstart that, that app dynamics. So I
exactly right,
tried with that
right.
online content, but still I couldn't get the proper way. So that is the main reason I'm joining here. I'll not much trouble, but I just if I get any stuck, I'll put my questions there. If as much as you know, you please help me out. That is more it.
Sure,
Because I'm
definitely,
zero
Raghavendra. That's why we are here. So that is where
yeah,
we are. I'm just glad for that, Raghavendra. So don't feel free to ask your questions, okay? Because this is the place where you don't have to hesitate or you don't have to feel like don't have to. I mean, I've given so many of corporate trainings where people do hesitate. So here you don't have to hesitate. This is a kind of safe space where you wanted to ask some kind of basic questions. That is also very fine because this is your learning space, right? So I'm
yeah.
glad you asked those queries. So I'm glad to address. I mean, uh,
Because
I'm
the
very
main
glad
reason,
because.
Sriram, the main reason
Mm,
we would like to run our project in a SRE model. So we have like
mm, mm,
Splunk and we have Grafana, okay, and now we are looking at a performance monitoring side. So maybe we are in win-to-win situation, open telemetry or app dynamics. That's what I put all these
oh, okay.
questions.
Right, right. I got it, Raghavendra. Yeah. So very well, because this is where you wanted to learn the practical aspect of APM tool, like AppDynamics, right? So how it
Mhm.
helps out, or such a way
It's
like it.
fine, sir. Whatever the content you're giving, at least that is helping me to kickstart. See, when I'm going
Exactly.
with
Right. Right. So you are
see,
welcome to ask the question, Raghavendra. So feel free to
sure.
ask it.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. That's all from mine.
Yep.
Sorry if I bother anyone or time. I'm
No,
sorry.
no, no worries. No worries, Raghavendra. Okay.
Sir, I have one query.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Uh, Yeah, so just small. What is the difference between the traces and logs?
See, when you say traces, right? I think you are seeing like let's say you when an application request is sent, right? Um, how this request is, uh, uh, I mean, when you say log, when the particular request is hit, right? What log does is, depending upon the type of log set, it can be error log or info log. What happens is it will give you kind of step-by-step informations, right? This request has been hit and it is a 200 request, uh, and uh, it helps you
Uh,
to see those
Sriram,
information. Yeah.
Sriram, can I help to Sham on this point?
Yeah. Yeah, you can share
Okay.
it. You can very well share
Yeah.
your
Sriram,
things.
as per as my knowledge, I can make a simple way. Traces are like sequential steps that we can evaluate if we have a traces. But logs is the final
Hmm,
endpoint
hmm, hmm.
that what will be that it is getting recorded in the log files. That is all I can say, Sriram. Sham. Sham, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there. I'm there.
Shyam, suppose an example, when you're running,
Yeah.
any URL on your browser, right? So
Yeah.
it goes to that your client, and then it hit on the server,
Mm,
then that load balancer, then it goes to the database
mm,
and get the
yeah.
information, and again coming in the
Mm,
same way, right? So in
right.
that
Right.
step,
Right.
each path, what happened, how much time it happens, and how much time it
Mm,
spends, where it is
mm,
consuming more resource, where it is consuming more time. That all you can see when you really have a traces, right? We are here for
okay.
that, okay? And if you
Mm,
are asking a logs, what will be your final outcome? Whether you got a HTTP status 200 or 400,
acha.
503, that is all just your logs. Got it?
Right. Okay. Okay. Yeah. I got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
See,
Thank you.
logs again, to add more information here, right, Shyam? Logs will help you to identify the issue, but with help of
Mm,
Hmm.
trace, right, you will be able to get the subtle information with respect to your application, like
Correct.
okay.
where
Okay.
your which methods are being executed long. You will be able to
Mm,
drill down more stack trace information from traces, application
okay.
traces. And at the same
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
I think if you have worked in some of the cases, right, what happens is the developers used to send the they used to write a kind of trace headers for a particular request. What happens is, so each of the requests which are being sent, right, they will be sent along with the trace headers. Such a way, like when you put those in the Splunk, right, Splunk logs, right, you will be able
Yeah.
to get much more information, like in which layers it has spent more time.
Mm,
Let's say if your application
mm,
is integrated with two or three applications, the places where it spent more time. Uh,
Correct.
so it is again like to I'm just getting putting more information here. It helps you to attribute more with respect to your application traces. But at the same time, logs, right? Logs can also be helpful for identifying the issues. But again,
okay.
uh, when you compare logs and traces, right? Traces are better.
Yeah. Yeah. I
I
got
would
it.
say
Got it.
logs is also having better information. But
Mm,
again, you need to know about the logs aspect. And at the same time,
okay.
like reading logs will be little difficult, right? When your application is having, let's say, if your
Yeah.
application is an high throughput based application, such cases where
Yeah.
logs are continuously flowing, right?
Sriram,
It's
just
a
to be
kind of
further,
different.
we can split the steps at what particular level. If you go with the log file, you cannot directly easily split it out, right?
Exactly,
Can I
exactly.
split?
So you need to have that aspect, like, so that is the reason why we are setting traces.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But at the same
Thank
time,
you.
you can, both of them are actually for troubleshooting.
Got it,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So I think, can I resume with the session part? So what we are going to cover. So in this case,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, thank you. So another thing is like we are going to see with respect to the application, right? What is AppDynamics tiers and nodes? There is something called for Java application. We have something like JVM and JMX, and events. What are all the events which will be generated? How to see the response times of the particular request being sent, or the business transaction in this case. And detailed error snapshots. We are going to cover detailed aspects here because the primary or powerful aspect of AppDynamics is on the business transaction front. And these are like different areas within AppDynamics. So when you configure an application, right, you'll be seeing something like tiers and nodes, exceptions, errors, something like JVM. So how we can able to see the different JVM aspects. We are going to see the detailed aspects here. And at the same time, like I told you, AppDynamics has the ability of part. So wherein we can able to build some nice dashboards. We can put a lot of metrics in one dashboard. Let's say with respect to your application, right? We can create dashboards in such a way like you will be able to pull the application metrics, the underlying infrastructure metrics, database metrics, and you can able to pull some kind of error information metrics. So lot of things can be kept in under the application dashboard in such a way like when you wanted to, let's say you wanted to troubleshoot, right, you will be readily able to see those metrics during that time what has happened. And at the same time you can able to build alerts and response. So in this case, through AppDynamics. AppDynamics is defaultly providing some kind of health rules alerts response. So what happens is when there is an, let's say, uh, there are default rules which are configured in AppDynamics. So you can also customize that alerts. What you can do is, let's say you wanted to put a kind of warning when CPU has reached 60, or you wanted to say when it reached 80, you wanted to send an alert. You can very well do that. You can create alerts and notification, and at the same time you can able to integrate with other aspects as well. Like let's say you wanted to integrate with Slack, ServiceNow, or Jira, or PagerDuty. So in this case, there are commercials associated with few of these products like ServiceNow or Teams or Jira. But there are some kind of tools which we can make use of such a way, like Slack, which is an open source, wherein when that event is getting generated, right? How AppDynamics transfers the event to, I mean, how you can able to bridge uh, AppDynamics and Slack. We can
Exactly.
see that part. It's a kind of integration again. Okay.
Hmm.
And metrics, there is something called metrics. Okay, metrics and dashboards are similarly, again, you wanted to build some kind of boards. But when I say metric, there is something called metric browser in AppDynamics, wherein we can able to see the detailed aspects of all the metrics from your infrastructure, or it can be in error, or you wanted to see some database metrics. All this will be readily available in metric browser, and where you can able to see humpty number of matrices under metric browser. I'll show you that aspect. And one more thing is AppDynamics has APIs. So any of these APM tools, if you take, right, they are provisioning APIs. The reason being is, see, most of the APM tools have gone to SaaS, right, wherein you don't have the access to their particular aspect. Let's say if you're deploying AppDynamics as an on-prem model, you do have a complete access, right? But with respect to SaaS, you don't have the access, right? Wherein these APM providers are provisioning this APIs such a way like you can able to use those APIs, and you can able to get the data outside of this AppDynamics. So let's say you can use AppDynamics API, you can hit it from Postman or some of the other tools, and you can get the data outside of AppDynamics. So that is one of the key part, right? Wherein you can able to get the data, and you can able to put it across in your you can just keep export the data outside of AppDynamics. So that is one advantage of using AppDynamics APIs. And again, diagnostic utilities for taking heap dump trigger. So heap dump as in memory dumps, or how you can able to use AppDynamics for issue debugging, like what kind of snaps which we can use, like it can be stall, error, and there are other debugging options in AppDynamics. And there is something called reports. I think uh, if you take any of the production supports, right? So what happens is they will be usually having a call with their stakeholders, like how the infrastructure has been there for the how it has performed in the past 1 week or uh, past month, right? So they will be having some kind of weekly meets. So if you do this configuration of report creations, right? So what happens is every week or every month you can able to generate the reports from AppDynamics in such a way like what has happened with respect to your application or infrastructure, you can able to see via that report. So within that week or month, so what kind of errors happened, what kind of let's say the number of calls which was even increased, or which is the business critical transactions, you will be able to get those reports as well. And there is one more advantage is we are showing like how to integrate AppDynamics with LoadRunner or Jmeter tool, such a way like you can able to do the transaction trace. So let's say when you're running a test, performance test, right? So this is helpful for the performance professionals, wherein when they're running the test from LoadRunner Jmeter, they wanted to do a transaction trace. They can use when we integrate it, we have a configuration. When we do that configuration, we can able to see the transaction traces. And there is something called call graphs in AppDynamics, which we are going to see. Again, that's a small part in AppDynamics, like full call graph, partial call graph, or error call graphs. which helps us to do the issue debugging again. And there is something called baseline concepts. So what is AppDynamics baseline is, I think most of the tools today are using uh, artificial intelligence or machine learning abilities, right? Wherein what happens is when the tool collects a kind of data, based on the data collected, your AppDynamics can able to suggest a baseline value. Let's say if your business transaction login, you have a business transaction for login. So you have deployed that application into prod and you're seeing the response time of login transaction is 1 second, 1.5 second, right? So what AppDynamics does is it gathers the data and it gives a baseline value. So let's say during some kind of scenarios like Black Fridays or Big Billion Days, okay, such cases where most of the people log in during that time, right? So what happens is your number of calls will get shooted out to a range which is not be able to predict it, right? Such cases your response time is likely to shoot. It let's say at the times, right, if your response time is around 10 seconds or 8 seconds, what happens is it you can able to see the comparison, like how much what is your baseline value before and how much it has shooted, what is the deviations in that. So baseline is something which is very helpful on that part. And there is something called UEM. I think here the name is slightly different. User experience monitoring. In AppDynamics, they call that as UEM, end user monitoring. Okay. So this is something new, guys. Okay. So far, for for the past few decades, we have been triaging issues in application layer, database layer, right? Nobody has focused on the user interface layer, UI layer. I think there are some tools in the market, but predominantly it was not focused until and unless most of the web applications evolved. So that is the reason why all these APM tools are provisioning this end user monitor. Okay, wherein you'll be able to troubleshoot issues at the user browser level. Okay, so let's say if you're, I mean, you can very well understand this part. If you see some of the application providers, right, they are asking to use this application will work best in Chrome or Firefox, right? How they are providing is based on this user experience monitor. I think we can see a lot of aspects with that. Actually, with respect to the upcoming years, right, this is going to be one of the game changer. Okay, because let's say if you take the current trend, right, people are using people are trying to access the application through laptops, right? Different kinds of configured laptops, different kinds of network connections. So you cannot able to predict what is happening in the UI layer, right? See, an user using an Wi-Fi good connection, so they can able to load the application instantly and they can able to see how the application rendering is happening. When I say rendering, how that application is rendered in browser. See, if I'm using a 3G connection, right? I think 3G is not, I don't know if it is anymore in the market, but let's say if I'm using 3G somewhere in the village, I'm trying to access that application, probably my response times will be very higher, right? So you can able to very well troubleshoot most of the aspects or that browser rendering aspects from UEM monitor. But there are few things which I can say you, and at the same time, we are doing some kind of all these things, right? Instrumentation is associated with, again, you'll be able to instrument, you can able to take thread dumps, heap dumps, and there are some kind of JMX part which we can able to do with respect to instrumentation. And all this UM monitoring, right? When I say UM monitoring, you can associate real user monitoring and synthetic monitoring. Okay, that is called RUM. They'll call that real user monitoring as RUM. Okay, this is something different RUM. So where you can able to monitor the real-time user statistics. And synthetic monitoring, again, it's like it is helpful for the e-commerce clients, particularly uh, useful for, let's say, Amazon or eBay, right, where they have deployed their applications across global. They need to know the availability and response time of their applications across global, right? So they can very well use synthetic monitoring. We can get the depths of the part in the upcoming sessions, and we are going to see some kind of real-time cases application related aspects over this over the period of course. Okay, so that's about the demo session, guys. I know I'm past 8 minutes. Sorry for that. I think that's it for the demo part. So any any queries, guys? I think I have only you guys. So hope you got the clarity on this AppDynamics training course.
Yeah, Sridhar, good. Hope you, I mean, hope we can meet again from the class. I mean, from tomorrow onwards it will be,
Yes,
right?
yes. We are going to go to the courses from tomorrow onwards. We are going on the session part, and to enroll into the session, you can very well reach to Kumar sir.
No,
I'll
I can be in touch with them. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
yeah, I'll share his contact here in the chat. Please do reach out to Kumar sir. So he'll be helping you on this enrolling this course. Okay, so from tomorrow onwards, we'll
Sriram,
be.
one thing just we are missing. See,
Mm.
what is the rule that we are getting it in the market if we learn app dynamics? So, I mean, like, what kind of rules that we are only
S-
performance monitoring engineering, or how it will be?
See, it, it I would say kind of role. See, it's a kind of added part, right? So let's
Yeah,
say
that's what the
you
question is
from the
coming from. Yeah.
let's say you are from a database background, right? So when you
Mm-hmm.
learn AppDynamics as a tool, right, you'll be
Mm-hmm.
getting a knowledge on how to use this AppDynamics on the database front, like how to monitor
Mm-hmm.
the uh, database part, right? At the same time, you have an option to be a kind of DevOps professional, right? Because you are learning an application part, like how to use AppDynamics to monitor application part. At the same time, you are monitoring the front end part, right? Like with the help of UEM, you are monitoring the front end part, and you are monitoring the infrastructure. It's a kind of holistic idea which you are getting in such a way, like you have an option to uh, be a kind of DevOps, or I would say kind of SRE professional, right? Wherein this helps you on that SRE path. Actually,
Mm-hmm.
if you know one APM tool, right, like AppDynamics strongly, you have I would say a better advantage of moving into a SRE track.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it need not you need not need to get I mean, one thing is you have to explore the part with the APM tools, so that eventually you will get a lot of ideas when you start using these APM tools, let's say in your
Mm-hmm.
projects or in your real-time perspectives, right? See, as part of training, I'm giving you the ideas and I'm giving you the
So, Sriram,
uh,
what is the source
aspects.
for this for us? Like, on my own system, I can install. And is there any source or applications
Yeah,
that,
you have to install in your uh, own laptops. You can very well do that. We'll provide you the uh, documentaries. At the same time, we'll provide you the materials which you can use it. So such a way, like you can
I
able to
mean,
do that on your own laptops.
that's fine, sir. But my question is, on which part that we do that all this performance, like, I mean, in my laptop, if you ask me, I don't have any Java related applications. I don't have any, .NET
Yeah.
related applications.
We'll provide you with the complete aspect. So let's say uh, sample Java application, how you can able to configure that application. We'll provide you that knowledge. So that is one great advantage of this course. So
That
wherein
is
we are
what I'm
not just trying to show with the app dynamics part, like how app dynamics works or configuration
because see,
does.
when you're
We
talking
are
about the
providing
heat
along with
dumps,
that applications.
yeah,
Yes.
when you're talking about the heat dumps, maybe I can ask you like just a brief about that heat dumps and why we are using that. That is also going to cover, right? I mean,
Um,
just an example.
can you come again, please, Raghavendra? I missed the
No,
last part.
suppose you're talking about JVMs or some
Mm,
Java
mm,
related. If I'm not
mhm.
aware, okay, the dams or the heat dumps, then we can even discuss about it, right? I mean, just asking here.
Yes. I mean,
At least a
I can
basic
provide you
understanding.
the
Hmm.
highlights on the heap dumps part as well, like
That's it.
why we are
I mean,
taking the
from where it is
dumps.
coming and how we
Yes.
can get that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Fine, sir.
yeah. And how to read the major aspects. Okay, so we can
Fine,
see
sir.
that part. Like, okay,
Okay, that's all from my end, Sriram, sir. Fine.
okay, great. So any queries,
Sir,
Sham?
is this can be, I mean, I know the content is very good and well structured that you mentioned. Okay,
Hmm.
but may I know,
Okay.
is this can be really covered in 15 hours? I mean,
Sorry, Raghavendra, can you please come again?
sir,
The content.
ఈ total మనం 15 hours లో కంప్లీట్ చేయగలమా? Can we complete in 15
Uh,
hours?
15 hours. Yes. మనం కంప్లీట్
Sir,
చేస్తాం.
are you from
Yes,
Telugu
we
state?
are
I mean,
completing it.
are you from Telugu state?
So, um, no, I'm from Chennai, but we used to speak Telugu in home. So,
Acha, if Sham does not have any problem, then we can communicate. Okay, fine.
yes, yes. So,
Fine, sir.
yeah, yeah. Thanks, Raghavendra. So, any queries, Sham? I think.
No, sir. Only doubt is like, in 15 hours, this well-structured course can be really finish it up or it may extend something. I have no problem
Uh,
if you can extend it with clear
yes,
idea.
we can extend the course period as well. So, let's say right now we are giving 15 hours, right? So, very well, if we wanted to get a depth insights, uh, so I'll just we can engineer the course accordingly as well, because as part of this is kind of crisp content with AppDynamics, because uh, wherein the must to know informations are embedded here, but the detailed aspects, right? If you we like to have the detailed aspects, we can very well extend the part as well. Okay, like instead of 15
Sure, sir.
hours going that, right, we can have 20 hours, such a way like that helps out. I think over the course of time, and at the same time the inputs from uh, you folks, right, that helps us a lot on doing that part.
Yeah, yeah. Because we are all from the basic, from the very beginning for the app dynamics. So maybe that is way,
Right,
that's why I'm just asking.
right. No problem, Raghavendra. Yes, we can very well do that. See, this course or this training is explicitly for you folks. Okay, this is, I mean, apart from whatever is there, right, the other aspects, uh, the main aspect for a trainer is like whatever is being conveyed in the training, right? So let's say if you take 95 percentage or 100 percentage, I mean, I wouldn't say 100, but if you take 90 or 95 percentage on that part, right, I'm very well glad, because you have learned a lot of things from me as a trainer, right? That helps even be, even I mean, it's a kind of uh, total satisfaction for me, right?
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. I
So
can
I'm
sense that.
just giving my 200% here. I would really feel glad on that my part, right? So you are welcome to do a lot of things here as part of learning, like with respect to the app dynamics part, or you have some kind of things which you can very well say that
And
we can go over that.
Sriram Garu,
Yeah.
in other time if we get stuck at anywhere, some junior resource or lab coordinator something will be from your institute can help me out, right?
Yes, we have Anita from our team, and there are a lot of other
Her name
people,
is
junior
Anita, right?
resources
I
here.
mean, someone told Anita.
Yes. I mean, you can reach out to Anita, or I'll be helping you out over the course of time. Okay. I mean, if at all, if you have any other queries,
Fine, sir.
so with respect to the
My point is,
configurations or do,
apart other side of the course timings. If I get stuck, okay, I can even ping you in the group. Or if you are busy, maybe I can take a help from Anita or someone else who can help me.
yes,
But of
you
course,
can ping me in the
it's not
group,
super urgent for me.
Raghavendra.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, you can ping me in the group, Raghavendra. So when I'm available, right, I'll help you on that part.
Maybe we can connect on a screen share also, right? You can take a control on my screen and can help me out. It's not something that you are showing there, right, Sriram?
Yes, I can available and I can help you with the screen share also. Okay,
I mean,
I'll be helping out. Or in either case, let's say if it is super urgent, Anita
no,
can
no, no.
help you
I'll
with
not
that
make it
part.
super urgent because it's not stopping or it's not giving any production issue for me.
Okay, yeah, very well. I mean, let's say, I mean, if you have some kind of things which you are preparing, right? I'll help you out. No worries. So you can just uh, shoot a message in the group. I'll very well help you on that part.
Fine, sir. That's all from my end. Thank you so much for your patience and kind information you provided.
No problem. No problem. You're welcome, Raghavendra. So I think let me stop recording.